financial consulting sectors, do they have more opportunities, how it is said?
Finance is the only industry who does the early adoption of any specific technology which is out there in the market. To be specific, the banks and all, the banking institutes and major financial institutes, they are the early adopters of the technology, right? Because these guys do spend tons and tons of money on implementing those technologies into their own system.
You've worked with many global sectors as well, right? Difference in terms of finance in different regions.
Every region has their own rules and regulations for that specific. But if we say general finance as a language, it's quite common everywhere globally. Unless and until we fall into the nitty-gritties, no doubt. Yeah, there is a difference, but finance globally is the same. At the end of the day, finance, to be very specific in a layman way, it's like how much did I earn? How much profit I'm making out of it? Am I keeping a proper count of it or not? So at the end of the day, the entire global financial things are dependent upon profit, loss, and the margins.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode where we have one more industry expert with us joining in the School of Future Tech. And today I am glad to introduce you all to Deep Gandhi. And he is management consultant at Infosys Consulting. So first of all, thank you so much. You gave us your Saturday time when you've come to the campus. And thank you for actually taking this whole session for the students of BTech and BBA. So before we go ahead with any of the questions or something, please let us know about your journey from where you started and right now you are at that management level. So how it took place.
So basically, I've done my normal BCom. I was born and brought up in Mumbai itself, and I did my graduation with just a normal BCom. And apparently, there, along with my journey of BCom, I did multiple internships, or CA internships to be specific, with multiple CA firms, so that I got a good exposure in terms of various financial technicalities and all. And because of the internships, I was able to grab a job at ICICI Bank itself from my graduation college itself. And over there, I was as a deputy manager into the wealth management and corporate lending segment. So for that, almost I worked for 3 years, I would say. And then I pursued my master's into finance and strategy. And from there, I landed up a job at Infosys Consulting. And since last 2 years, I'm with Infosys Consulting as a business consultant specializing in BFSI capital markets.
So are you aware of the tech field and tech side of this as well?
If you ask me to on the tech side, I am not that great on the tech side, but apparently, yeah, my exposure in Infosys Consulting, being Infosys, being a tech company, since last I think couple of years, I have got a lot of exposure on the tech side, and because of the need of various things, yeah, I'm learning of the tech side, I would say.
So you had an interaction with these first year students of BTech and BBA. So if I would want to know what kind of difference or aura have you seen in them being in their first year itself?
First and foremost thing, if a person gets an aura from the surrounding, right? So what I saw from this is the curriculum. I would just say what I've discussed with you guys initially and all, and what I just saw that it is not traditional at all. It is something quite different, which many of the B schools out there in the market are not providing in terms of indulging both the traditional education plus the latest trends and also the managerial aspects. What we can say, because of it, I felt that the students are quite matured and quite corporate ready in a way, not complete ready, but yeah, are up to a certain extent, because of which the questions, the behavioral aspects were quite different from the other students in comparison, comparatively. Yeah, so that was a good aura in terms of like having such a mature crowd and asking something relevant rather than some traditional basic questions. But yeah, as I said, the aura completely depends upon your surroundings. So that's what I felt. The surroundings have played a major role over here in terms of making the students quite mature.
So were they able to adapt all the things that you were discussing with?
Apparently, yes. My topic was not that on the what do we say, industrial side or tech side or something. It was quite generic, but just to make them understand what all things to do and whatnot. And that way, they were easily able to grab up the stuff and also summarize it well. Because I feel that rather than just giving a one-sided speech or it's a lecture, it's always better to have a two-way conversation. So in a way, they were easily able to sum up the things whatsoever we discussed and all. So that was good in a way.
We have majority of the students in the tech side right now. If they want to get into the financial sector and with that degree, so is there something they should be focusing more on in terms of skills?
Sure, sure. So it's not about just tech and finance. I would just say, if suppose you are specializing in one field, right? Let's say if you're learning or having some actual work excellent, and let's say if tomorrow morning you want to switch to some another field which is completely never in correlation with that specific existing field. In that case, I would just say start with the basics. So if you know that in future you want to you want to land in the financial segment, if you are a techie, in that case, start with some basics. What I feel is people do have aspirations to go on some other field, but they don't start it in a way. Just to start with basics. And I don't think so that for doing the basics, you need some money or spend some extra time on day in, day out. Even if you just go through internet, just glance through YouTube, you will be getting multiple sources through which you will start learning, right? In a way, and getting up the basics and all. So if you're good with that, I feel that you can easily take up the advanced things in finance or as well as any other field.
In terms of, opportunities, I believe financial consulting sectors, do they have more opportunities? How it is said that yes, you can get into it. Any field can get into it.
Yeah. See, the only thing people say about it is because finance is the only industry who does the early adoption of any specific technology which is out there in the market. If you see any other industry, they do check the market scenario and then adopt to any specific technology or something. But looking at the financial segment, to be specific, the banks and all the banking institutes and major financial institutes, they are the early adopters of the technology, right? Because in day out, the new technologies are coming in, and these guys do spend tons and tons of money on implementing those technologies into their own system. So that's the reason, as and when they try to do something different, they do have the opportunities for the people to come in. So if suppose you're also the one who is quite good in terms of adopting up the stuff, in that case, yeah, finance is the industry for you, in which you would be exploring various things day in, day out.
You've worked with many global sectors as well, right? So, do you see there is any difference in terms of finance in different regions?
Every region has their own rules and regulations for that specific. But if we say general finance as a language, it's quite common everywhere globally, unless and until we fall into the nitty gritties, no doubt. Yeah, there is a difference, but finance globally is the same. At the end of the day, finance, to be very specific in a layman way, it's like, how much did I earn? How much profit I'm making out of it? Am I keeping a proper count of it or not? And where is the boundary line? If I'm making the losses, then where should I stop? If I'm making the losses, then till where should I continue? If I'm making the profits, then is the margin good enough? So at the end of the day, the entire global financial things are dependent upon profit, loss, and the margins. So I would just say it's a common language. Even if you are here in India and want to pursue some financial sectors or want to get knowledge of some financial sectors globally, I think that you can easily grab a knowledge of it. And basically speaking, India is the hub, what do we say, a financial hub of globe, when many big players are having their headquarters down there in India. So I would say, if you're having such good exposure, then in that case you can easily take advantage of it, and there are no barriers as such.
What would you recommend a student to go ahead with? Masters like MBA or CFA then?
In that case, it's nothing. There is a perfect line to draw with. Even if you ask me today how wide I did my MBA, even at this stage, I don't have a perfect answer to it, because I felt that currently at this stage where I was standing, that's a kind of saturation stage. And for moving ahead, I need to do CFA or MBA. That's what the question. Looking at my specific scenario, I felt that I need to do MBA because I need to go ahead in this XYZ field, in which CFA won't be that helpful. So that's the reason I pursued my master's. So there is no specific line to CFA, MBA, CWM, or XYZ, any course in the market. It's like if you are knowing that you want to go into this field, identify which course or which institute is offering you the majority exposure to it, or which career field is exposure. And that way you should take your steps rather than blindly simply following anyone.
Was these, or you can say, was the entire plan already planned for you, like from going for your
No, no, no. To be very true, nothing was planned as such. Luckily, not lucky. Yeah, luckily I would just say my stars worked on that specific day, and also my kind of internship experiences and the kind of knowledge I had gained helped me out to gain a job, a good level of a job in ICICI Bank. And luckily, my surrounding, as I mentioned about the aura thing and all the surroundings, my seniors were too good in a way to help me out. Because I was quite young when I entered the bank, and I was at branch level. So majority of the people were in their like early 30s or late 40s and all people, and I was quite young at that stage. So it's now on you that you are you curious enough to know the various things, because in every job you are told to do A to B work. There is always a boundary. But if suppose you are the one who crosses that boundary and tries to identify various things out there, trust me, sky is the limit for you, wherein you can explore various things. And then as in when you go ahead, I think many of the students also ask this: what should I do? Should I directly go for a job, or should I go for a master's? I would just say try to identify. My baseline is my biasness is towards having a job after your bachelor's, so that you at least know ki what I'm good at, and then pursue your master's into it. Or else if you just directly grab your master's, someday or later placements come, they would come in, and you would grab some job in which they feel you're good at, but you don't know about your own self that am I good at it or not. You cracked the interview, that half an hour session, you cracked it and you are in. But you have not explored the stuff. So it would be quite late down in the future where you can experience, oh, this is something not my calling. This is something I don't need to do it. But on the other hand, if you have done some kind of job, some relevant experience, in that case, you at least have a clarity. Okay, I don't need to do this at least, or I need to do this at least. So having some base clarity and then doing the masters make a lot of sense. Then it may be a job, maybe some kind of individual project, some relevant things. I'm not specifically targeting on job. I'm just saying before masters, you should have the clarity. And even if you are the one who is having the clarity at the end day of bachelor's, okay, good to go.
Many students have this myth, or they just feel that, if they do their masters from outside the country or somewhere in abroad or west side, so they can land up to very good companies directly. So is this something that, yeah, it is true, or do companies, like, they look after the experience and then they select you?
See, here in this case, as in when we compare India with other regions, in that case, definitely yes, currency, the kind of currency you are earning in makes a lot of difference. That's point one. That's a factor which we can't ignore, right? So that's point one. On the other hand, if you ask me that what is the probability of me ending up at a good job, I would just say it's 50-50%. Even in India, if you are going at some extremely well rich organization with some good pedigree and all, it is always possible that you can end up at a average job, the least amount offering job, or the major stake offering. Because in India also we see nowadays people are getting packages in crores. There are news out there in the market, and it's true. So it's not like any specific region will help you out. I think there are two factors: whatsoever you have done till that day, and in that half an hour to 1 hour of interview, how you are performing, how you are able to summarize your entire journey makes a lot of difference. And yeah, the other factors, the currency factors, some global standards. So there is an impact, but at the end of the day, it's on you how you are able to summarize the thing, or else regions don't matter that specifically.
As we were talking about the specializations, now we have these many specializations that students will be going ahead with. So, is there any other thing that we can add into their curriculum so that can be a helpful or something that is trending right now that can be, fruitful for them? Ki at least after 4 years, it will be working out for it.
I would just say, rather than developing up a new curriculum, I would just say in the existing curriculum itself, we can try to identify the gaps. What are those? Because see, never a curriculum is perfect. Because every time a specific education institute start with some new academic year, they do some trial and error in terms of eliminating a specific subject, introducing a new one, and all. So if suppose we are having experience that students are facing in such kind of issue, I think we can clear out those issue rather than for again coming up with a new thing wherein students are completely unaware of. So let's make a long-term procedure rather than being a very, so there is no direct question to it. And I don't think it would be a right thing to pinpoint specifically. So it's a long-term thing wherein you can just take a feedback from students because they are the true customers of yours, right? So in a way, take a feedback from the customers and whatsoever they feel. If your goals also, if the institute goals also align with it, take it ahead.
Many students also, being a fresher, they want to crack these top companies. Are there any skills that is mostly relevant for them to look after? Because BTech students right now, what happens, other than their networking or connection, internship is also a part of the program. So the main question that these students ask us is, ma'am, also we want to get into a big company, especially after 4 years. However, we are doing it over here. So, is there something that we can let them know? Ki, okay, this is particular skill you can look after that can help you. So, if you focus on one particular thing and master into it, that may help you compared to any other student. So, any skill they should be looking after?
See, that's what we were discussing out there in the session. That every specific era has a skill set, a golden skill set, which you should pursue. So I think this specific tenure is quite focusing on data analytics, because data analytics is the base of everything. The every fancy term which you hear in AI, ML, and all, it's the base of it as data analytics. So I would just say, if you are the one who want to grab something good out there in the market, I think pursue data analytics. Start the basics of it. I'm not telling you to just completely fall into it, do some professional certifications. Try to explore out the stuff. If you're liking it, well and good. If not, then try to identify the kind of pathway which is in parallel with data analytics, so that you are in trend rather than being obsolete. You are the one who is walking with the trend and having some good skill sets. And see, there are always two things. One is my primary skill set and one is secondary skill set. If my primary skill set is not data analytics, even if you give me thousands of certifications free of cost, I won't do it like a completely in a very good manner, or let's say for just for learning. I'll just do it for namesake. So it's always good that I pursue my primary skill set, I be the best at it, and then along with it on the secondary side, I pursue the skill set which is in trend. So if someone asks me what to do along with my so and so should I pursue, I would just say, identify what is your primary skill, start pursuing it, and then do data analytics and all. Because even if we say data analytics is quite on the tech side, so even if I tell you my story, I'm not on the tech side. I'm not that much into it. On the other hand, on the functional side, I'm quite well at it. So I make sure that I am quite good on the functional side, but I also make sure on the secondary side also be in parallel with the industry, so that at tomorrow's stage I don't be obsolete for my industry, for my job role, for my client, or let's say whatever work I'm doing it. Because it's in today's era, it's quite obvious that at any given point of day you can be obsolete, right? So if you just focus on your primary skill set and you don't have the current trending skill set, I think some or the other day there would be an end, or let's say there would be a saturation. So in order to be uptrend and get the best possible thing, make sure your primary and secondary. If your primary is the same as the what we say, the running skill set, nothing good than that. But even if you are the one who is having some kind of difference between the existing skill sets, that's okay. People are doing it out there in a very great way, and there is a place for both the person who are into that upcoming trend, and also to support that there are various people who are supporting it and are making it able to develop it ahead.
Next will be a rapid fire round. So we'll go with the question and just rapidly answer. Okay. Um, Stock, real estate, or mutual funds? Where would you invest?
Real estate.
Real estate. Uh, One career mistake, not a mistake, but something related to mistake that you've made and you still remember it.
My career mistake was to leave ICICI Bank at an early stage to my MBA prep. What I felt was it is just a hype created around for this examinations. I
Okay.
would just say carry on your work and then do, because I missed on various opportunities over there. So that's the reason I always feel why I left just for preparing for my
For
MBA
just for MBA.
entrance examinations. So yeah.
If not finance, then what other sector you would be in?
If not finance, then I would definitely be into the marketing side, because it's quite innovative. And I feel marketing, rather than being a theoretical thing, it's quite practical and full of numbers. Trust me, marketing is a number game. So if not finance, then marketing would be the one.
Biggest misconception about financial consultancy?
They drive the world. No, they don't. They don't. The thing is, no doubt, finance consultancy do have some authority out there in the market, but trust me, they are also quite dependent as the other fields are. So there is nothing like, if I'm a finance consultant, I would be having Lamborghini or let's say Rolls Royce at my garage. No, it's always on you.
So, do you face this thing that most of your friends, relatives, if they want to invest into something, they're like, "Yeah, okay, the right person is Deep. I should be calling him or asking him about all
In
these things."
today's world, relatives don't call the relatives because it's quite toxic out there in the market. And to be very frank, everyone has a different opinion and
Yes.
biases. And because of tons of resources, Even if you ask me something, if I give you the advice, you would be again verifying it by your own,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's always better. Even I make sure if someone asks me, I give a very neutral or generic answer, because I know my risk tolerance capacity. I know my factors. I don't know about your financial condition. I don't know about your background and also. If I recommend you something, and me being an active player, I can make my horses turn up. But if you are not active and if I give you something, it's on me then. Then
Yeah.
why to fall out certain relations because of some trivial thing? Yeah.
Okay. And fintech startup or traditional banking?
Fintech startup. They are doing a lot of things, and trust me, the banks, or let's say the traditional banks, are completely dependent upon fintech startup. If they take a certain step, they analyze it, they do it, and then they also follow it the same. So fintech startups are rocking the boat.
Okay. One piece of advice you would give to yourself, like your younger self.
My younger self, whatsoever opportunities comes at your hand, take it out. Don't think about ifs and buts. If you think about ifs and buts, it's never sure that it will go up or down. So whatsoever is there in your plate, take it up open heartedly rather than uh, thinking कि क्या करूँ क्या नहीं करूँ 10 जन को पूछूँ या क्या करूँ.
But you know that ifs and buts actually do come in, and after certain point you realize कि यार वो ifs and buts की वजह से ना I shouldn't have waited, because when you said this line ना I went to my time that I was pursuing ACCA, but I stopped because of the COVID. So I was like, hey, because of COVID, what if I don't pass? If this happens, then the financial thing. I was taking in many things. And now that question, when I asked you, that also came to me that, yeah, just because of those ifs and buts, I didn't pursue it that time. Maybe that is the reason I still regret not doing it.
Yeah, even at today's date, if you ask me in my day-to-day work, there are various opportunities out there, and I think if I take up this secondary work, what would be my social life? What would be this and that? I just say just chuck it. Just take up the
Yeah.
opportunity. If time don't permits you, you can make the adjustments. We are quite mature
Yes.
enough to do the adjustments in our life. So rather than thinking at that specific time, take it out.
Yeah. What is the max that can happen?
Yeah, what's the max can happen? I'm earning my money. I'm doing really great. For a certain time frame, I would be on the backstage, but because of that backstage, I would be learning a lot of things. That's okay.
AI in finance, is it a like revolution, or is it like a hype?
For me, being a strategy consultant, for me, it's quite normal. Everyone, every bank, every startup is implementing AI in some or the other way. Some on advanced, some on average level, some on mid level, and all. But for people out there, yes, like AI and finance are completely hand in hand. As I told you, the finance industry is the one who adopts the technology very quickly. So any technology which is coming into the market, they are adopting it. So they are completely hand in hand. And if you want to be into the finance, I would just say just try to be up to date with the knowledge of AI and all. Some basics, some bird eye view, no expert. That's all I need you to if you want to be in finance.
And one last piece of advice you would give to these students.
I would just say don't narrow down your own self. Don't limit yourself that I am from BBA, I am from tech industry, I can't do that. Whatsoever comes, take it ahead and take as much as opportunity as possible. If there are certain clubs and committees, try to do that. Try to engage with people in the multiple ways, because if I'm engaging with you today, I'll get to know tons of things, out of which I know some are not useful to me, but at least one or two lines were useful for me, which I took it over. So that's the thing. Engage as much as possible and try to connect with the world. Whatsoever events are happening, if it is in your budget, attend it.
We do that thing over here. So we have these tech community meetups and all happening on almost every month basis. So some or the other way, we get the tickets for the students and we are like, "You just go.
Yeah,
Network as much as you
that's the
can."
thing. That's the thing. Even if you don't, if just for fun purpose, if you go there, it would be a
Yes.
kind of outing for you. You would be enjoying it. Apart from that, if you learn, well and good. Nothing like good than that. So
Even
that's the thing.
speaking to one industry expert in such places will be something that you can maybe take ahead
Yeah,
with you.
and some or the other day, even that connection can help you out. Trust me, whatsoever
Yes.
you learn, whomsoever you meet, some or the other day, there would be a scenario wherein it would be of use. So having that network, having that learning, which you feel it's trivial at this stage, but at later stage of life, these connections are the one which will help you the most. Even in my journey, I would just say academic journey, professional journey, this seniors or let's say this connections has helped me a lot in terms of giving me a better understanding. because at every stage, as in when we are starting something new, we are not well aware about the situation or the scenario out there. But this guys, your connections will make sure at least they will guide you in a certain way so that you don't take a wrong step and start with a good stage or platform to go ahead with. So yeah,
Got it. Thank you so much. It was
you're
an
welcome.
insightful session. Thanks a lot.
I hope. Yeah.